we haven't seen every practice in camp, but are you pretty comfortable with what you've seen from, first of all, your punters and your place kickers at this point?
In terms of comfortability, we're working there. Yeah, we're working there. I think Atticus was coming off an injury and has been back in the flow. I think every time that we've punted, he's continued to get more and more comfortable. I think some of that has to do too with he's getting comfortable with the scheme. Coming in the summer, didn't really have any reps behind that protection. We really we challenge the punt team every day, like we bring it. Coach Fickle does a really good job of putting a lot of pressure on our punt team. That puts pressure on the punter. So I think you're just kind of punting out in the grass down in Australia, doing your own thing. It's a little bit different than when you got 8-9 bodies coming at you. And I think he's getting more and more comfortable. He's really starting to get the hang time, the distance, the location that we really want out of that position. It's really come on here of late. I would say the same thing with Vakos. I think that he was here in the spring, but he's doing really well. I mean, I think of that scrimmage we had the other day. He hit a 52, 53 yarder to kind of end it and build some confidence there. So, that he's just like same thing. We're just more and more padded football, so there's more pressure coming at those guys. So there's definitely been a growth, and for both of them, it's been great. And Van Dyke has punted well. I tell you, he's done a great job on kickoffs. The kickoffs have been really good. When you look at the placement of those, the hang time, distance, location, he's really had a great fall camp. I mean, he's been one of those, I wouldn't say a surprise, but it's been one of those things that looks to be an asset.
You mentioned Atticus' injury. Did he miss a lot of time where he couldn't do anything physically?
Yeah, without getting into the details of it, he was off a little bit. Yeah, he was off a little bit and was just having to do some rehab and was limited physically from punting.
Sticking with special teams for a second. Fickle said Saturday that you guys were playing tomorrow. Jim would be the punt returner. Do you have a feel for who you might like back at kick returner, or is it still kind of a competition there?
There's still competition there. I think the names that probably come to the top of mind besides Jim, Will Pauling. It's very dynamic. And look at that position. You want somebody just because it's a little bit of separation at times. You want somebody back there who's dynamic. Vinny Anthony's extremely fast. He's been back there taking some reps. So I think probably, there's 3-4 guys back there that will kind of, Skylar Bell's taking a few reps back there too. So we're still kind of working through that, and some of it will kind of be a little bit of how the receiver thing continues to play out too. But definitely Jim brings the experience. He had a really big kickoff return in the bowl game against Oklahoma State and has some experience. And Will's had some experience in Cincinnati doing some things. So we'll see how it plays out.
You don't see many players make the jump from D2 to this level. Obviously, you have confidence that Nazir can do it. What gave you that confidence to endorse him basically the rest of the staff?
Sure. So I think he was a really good player for us at Grand Valley when I was head coach there. He's an All-American. But the biggest thing was just I knew after being here January, February, March, April, because I was really new. Like everybody on defense, had coached with Coach Fickle. I was the only one that really had him before. So through that growth process of learning about the culture of this program, what Wisconsin football is all about, what Coach Fickle expects, I just knew that he had the competitiveness, he had the character, he's a high character person, he had the drive, he had the work ethic that he would fit in here. I knew that there was going to be competence levels, and he was going to have to really there, but I knew he had all the intangibles that if it was going to work, he would bring that to the table. And so, as we started to get there, I think it was Mayish. We're looking for one. He became available. At that point, he was committed to Vanderbilt, and yada, yada, yada. But I knew he had the intangibles that would take us.
You kind of proof that guys can slip through the cracks a little bit or develop late and all that. There are guys out there that can do this.
Yeah, I think, my experience, I was Division II as an assistant for 6 years, head coach for 13 years. A lot of times, we had a lot of guys that played in the NFL that were more like O-line, D-line guys. Matt Judon played for me. He's having a heck of a career right now for the Patriots, late contract Pro Bowler. I think sometimes you miss on those bigger body types and late developers. I think skill positions, you don't miss maybe as much at the higher levels, so that's why I give Nizer a ton of credit because of that. And I would also say, he's redshirted in 2 years of physical development. I think we did a good job, even though Division II limited resource with the strength and conditioning program, and I think that helped them too. But it is a credit, to this, and I think we will continue to recruit high school players, and that'll be the main thing. We'll focus how we're going to build Wisconsin football program. But you're never going to turn away somebody in the portal just because they come from a lower level.
From a production standpoint, it's hard to replace the big kid.
Yeah.
But what did you expect from Daryl?
First of all, I don't want to cut you. C.J. Getz is the guy that has really improved as a pass rusher. We had a little scrimmage yesterday. He had 2 sacks yesterday. C.J. you guys all know was really good against the run. Really stout on the edge, setting up down the edge. He's really improved his get off, some of his edge moves, transitional power. He's done a good job. So CJ's there. DP's extremely active, really active. He's tough because he gets on. He's very slippery. And he gets on edges and makes things happen. So he's had a good fall camp, rushing the passer. And the other person I want to throw out there too, 2 other guys. King Johnson's had a good camp. I was really probably eye-opening for a lot of the new people because he was injured almost all spring. He got a foot injury, didn't take a lot of reps into the summer, so he's got a good camp. And Petrowski's coming on. He's coming on there. So I don't know that we're going to match that production with any one individual. I'm sure those guys think they are. But I do think it's going to be somewhat of a combined effort, and there might be some other pieces that going into it on our defense. I tell you, I'm really impressed. Not my position group, but Jake Chaney is an incredible pressure linebacker. He's got great feel, and so might have to generate some things in different areas too. Just won't have that one guy who's going to put in the situation.
You talk about Getz. I think he's got the most returning snaps on defense from last season. Do you think he's a good example of being able to develop, kind of wait your turn, and then produce when you get that chance? Because it's 56th year for him. He didn't get a whole lot of chances his first 4.
Yeah, he has been so impressive to me. So impressive since I got here. You got somebody that's been in the program for 5 years. You got a completely new coaching staff, new position coach, changing some fundamentals and techniques. CJ's completely bought into everything we're doing, and we're using them in different ways than previous. And then, I think he's done a great job of strength and conditioning in the offseason, especially in the summer. He's gotten quicker, he's gotten faster, and he's playing with a lot of just competitiveness, a lot of energy. There's some joy in his craft. He's coming out here every day, and you can tell, he's having fun. He's having fun. And when you're doing this 6 years, it's tough. And so I think he's on the back end of it. Because of those early things, the having to sit thing, I think he's got a great perspective on things. He's got an attitude of gratitude, and he's showing that every day. Today he had a great practice game today. Coming off the scrimmage, challenged all of them, and he came out and played extremely well. Yeah. No, that's fine. We talked. We had some conversations about Atticus Bertram, who came in the summer, who was previously committed to USC but had an injury and took some time off. Is getting more and more comfortable. I think Van Dyke's done a good job too. We definitely have seen more and more production out of Atticus here the last week, and is starting to put himself in a position where might be, him and Jack are neck and neck. Maybe Atticus is starting to do a little bit more. I tell you, the left-footed thing too is going to be unique for opponents. That's just some different angles, and guys aren't used to left-footed punters, and so that can kind of be I think subtly that can help it.
See, Matt, with that dollar look and just the responsibilities, is it the boundary outside linebacker where they line up? How have the players adapted to that, and just what are the objectives or what are the responsibilities that they have at that spot?
No, I think that shows, your question, that shows the commitment they have to Wisconsin football, unselfishness, because, just to be blunt, that position is basically like a defensive end. He gets transitions from a 2-point stance down to a 3-point stance. I'm sure you guys are smart enough to see that up in the window. And so, him just willingness to do that, to do whatever it takes for us to be successful. Us playing both an even front and out front, and the versatility that the outside linebackers bring to both of those packages will be, in my opinion, I think very, very good for Wisconsin football and for our defense. And so it requires unselfishness. The skill set for one package it's similar, but it's more diverse from the other package. And then we even have a base package, which is more like a 52 front. We use against 12 personnel on the goal line. That's even different. So there's a lot of skill sets that the outside linebackers have to know, and I give those guys a tremendous amount of credit. They're bought in on bringing that defense to Madison.
You and Mike Tressel go way back.
Yeah.
What's about him as a coach, as a person that stands out to you?
Yeah. So, Mike and I have a relationship that spans over 30 years. He's passionate about football, very energetic, high energy person, has a tremendous amount of depth and knowledge about the game, front, linebackers, on back. And so I've always respected just how much he has known about the game, and he also has a growth mindset. I have a growth mindset, so they align that way, trying to learn and grow and be better. And, at the same time, I think appreciate Mike's humility that he's willing to listen to people in the defensive staff room, other assistant coaches and those things for input. There's no arrogance there. There's no ego. He's been a successful defensive coordinator at a couple spots in Michigan State and Cincinnati, but still willing to try to do what's best and is open to ideas. So he's got a good balance, confidence but not arrogant, and humility but not lack of confidence. And he's got a very great personality set, I think, to lead.
Going back to the dollar, I know you mentioned Jets, but who else do you feel is coming on to take on that
Sure.
role within that dollar spot?
Yeah, I mean, so some of it might depend on who we're kind of playing, to be transparent. If it was an air raid team and you look at our schedule, some of the first opponents, Daryl Peterson brings some edge, just in terms of some rush. He's really good at doing some different things that way. And then, if we were using the dollar package, you get some people, some heavier tackles, and do some different things in the run game. Maybe it's Petrowski. Jeff's had a good camp there too. So I think we would we try to fit those guys based on what we think's their skill sets, because Peterson's skill set's a little bit different than Petrowski's skill set, fair enough. And so we would try to marry up what we think's the best for that particular opponent potentially. Appreciate you.